Thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel, Reverend MeeLing. The ornery PSA is also mine. It's at my website, www.susanmeeling.com. I've been known by a few names. Susan MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Reverend MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, a few others. So, currently, there's a bunch of news in regards to various protests throughout the United States of America. Earlier tonight, I went to go and take care of some stuff online, and I noticed, and I threw a temper tantrum, mainly because it took so much for me to get myself out there because of how bad my headaches are right now. And at that time, so I did what I could, and I threw a temper tantrum because of the internet not working, because I can't have it in my apartment still because of various aspects. And so, again, I did tweet it, I do apologize for my temper tantrum. It did take a lot for me to step outside of the apartment after today's shot set, as well at the immunization clinic, as well as my haircut, styling, it does on top of my teeth issue. That is definitely something that absolutely needs to be taken care of because it is quite painful. Especially when it comes to my headaches and migraines. Absolutely. That being said, in regards to the protests, so back in Washington State, I was listening to the news and I looked over, and I think it was the Ferguson Riots, if I'm not mistaken. My son came home from school the following day, and the news was broadcasting all that, and I went and spoke with him. How was your day? So on and so forth. He told me about how his day went. I'm like, all right, now downstairs right now. And he was just, okay, you need to see this on the news right now. And he goes, okay, what? And at that point, it was a back and forth. Is the 5 on? Because he had a thing for Miss Jebediah Smith. And I was like, you need to see what's going on the news right now. I want you to see that. And he, okay, Mom. Okay. You don't usually have that sort of thing going on. I am going to pause and say I was listening to Tim Young or Killer Mike. It's a guy who was speaking in Atlanta, Georgia, at the police station, giving a discussion in reference to his background and his family and the protests and stuff like that. And so it reminded me of certain things. I had done a YouTube video on simply the Minnesota area, but apparently it spread across the United States of America as my headache did what it did. Irony in that regard. But that being said, going back to, his commentary, inspiring this aspect here, I called my son down in 2015 or 2016 when it was the rioting going on. And I said, you see that? You see that? And yeah, I go, what is wrong with that? Tell me what is wrong with what is on the television screen right now. My son just, they're breaking other people's stuff that's not theirs. Okay, what else? And he's like, they're being destructive. Okay, what else? They're hurting police officers. What else? And he did not see where this was going. You'll see. and it, various things that he was seeing. And I was like, let me tell you something. Okay, Mom, I know you are not doing that. But what I want you to know is I did not raise you to throw fits like that. I did not raise you to go out and break other people's belongings. I did not raise you to go and cause problems for other things. You want to protest? That is not considered protesting. That is considered rioting. I want you to see the difference. Do you know what the difference between protesting and rioting is? And he was like, well, since that apparently is rioting, what is protesting, since the news is saying that's protests? No. That is rioting. That is looting. That is causing problems. Yes, there are all the various companies, the bigger ones, they have insurance, but the smaller ones, they can only do so much. And if they don't have the capability to pay their deductible, those small businesses, those mom and pop shops, those guys, and in their communities, lost everything. And my son just kind of, okay, go ahead. Protesting, the way it was created and written originally, is peaceful protesting, where you hold signs, where you walk in the street, where you speak with your mouth, not with your fists, not picking up stuff and throwing it, not being destructive, not burning things, not attacking physically, where you literally utilize your freedom of expression, your freedom of speech to emulate to the world or to the location, whatever it is, so that way people listen to you, because you need to be educated when you do this. What good does that do? What good does going and burning stuff do? Nothing. Okay, what good comes from going and destroying another person's business? Whether it's a big company or a small company, what good does that do? None. Good answer. The point is, how does that affect that community there? And my son, probably badly. Yeah, probably, realistically. So, let me explain something to you. And he's like, okay, Mom, I love you. I love you too, but I want you to know, if I ever see you at one of those doing anything like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you better ask the police to hold you. And he looked at me and goes, why? Because the police will be protecting you from me. What? I did not raise you to do that. I raised you to speak, right? Yes. I raised you where you were taught words and had a vocabulary to express yourself, correct? Yes. Okay. So while I understand anger, I understand frustration. You know that to a degree. I'm definitely seeing it, Mom. That's what he told me. I'm definitely seeing your frustration. I'm definitely seeing your anger at this point. Yeah, no, you're not seeing my anger. You don't want to see my anger. Oh, if this isn't, my son said, if this isn't you angry, I don't want to see you angry. Yeah, you are absolutely accurate on that. You are absolutely accurate. Anytime that I have scolded you and lectured you, it's been annoying, right? Did you do it again after? It took a few times, but once I got the memo, I got the memo. Okay. But I didn't have to, do to you what I grew up with, right? No, you didn't do that. I'm gonna let you know, though, that will get you that. I won't do it, Mom. I'm not. I know, because I taught you right, correct? Yes. Okay. Don't you let me see that. Ever of you doing that. Don't ever do that. I will get on an airplane to fly. I don't care where I am. I will get on an airplane to fly to you. You know how my headaches and migraines are. Yes, I do. Understand that. I will get on an airplane and fly to wherever I need to get to you to discuss that. And we will have a conversation. No, Mom, we will not, because I will not do that. Good. The irony. The following day, I'm listening to the news, and there was a news report of a mom that was peacefully protesting the aspect. She and her friends were walking and holding signs, and she saw her son. And she went from walking with her friends, grabbed her son by his ear. You come here, boy. And I was like, get him, mama. You get that. You get him. And so then, of course, when my son came home from school, how was your day at school? And discuss that. Yeah, I love you. I love you. Get downstairs. Oh. What now? What is on the news now? I want you to see this. Okay. You know, I know you're not doing, but I want you to see this. And okay, you watch this. And so the news showed it again, because the news does as it does and stuff like that. Showed that mom, and I said, you see that mom right there? And he goes, uh-huh. You see what she did to her son? Uh-huh. I don't care how tall you get. I don't care. I don't care how tall you get. You could be taller than that boy. I will do the exact. I will fairy jump up to you, and I will grab you by the ear, and I will drag you back. You don't know. You best not ever do something like that. Going and that mom had seen her son throwing rocks and all that sort of stuff. I was like, get him, Mama. You So my son at that point was like, so let me understand this. Uh-huh. As long as I don't do that, I'm not in trouble. Well, there's other things. But in reference to that on the news, yes, as long as you don't do that, if you are going to protest, do it peacefully. There was the Million Man March. There were, other individuals where they literally just walked, and there were hundreds of thousands of millions of individuals who walked from city to city just to make their point. There were speeches given where people expressed themselves eloquently, where the individuals spoke of the actual atrocities and gave hope and light to the individuals that were in the crowds and masses, letting them know that they could actually make a difference in ways not just for themselves at that moment, but throughout the history of time. My son just kind of looked at me and he's like, okay, oh my God, Mom. Yeah, uh-huh. What, handsome? Because, what? Oh no, you're just gonna talk like that, huh? Yes. Because I'm letting you know that sort of stuff, that right there, what that mama did, yes, get it, mama. And she was on shortly afterwards saying, different hardships that she had been dealing with in certain regards. And, despite other aspects, she made sure to handle that. Laid down the law in that regard. And so it's one of those, I do not understand, as many individuals, that guy, among many others, do not understand. I didn't understand it for years. I didn't understand it when I was living in New Jersey. When watching the news in regards to certain riots in LA burning or Los Angeles burning. And it was one of those, what good is that? When it came to other things throughout the 90s and some 80s and stuff like that. Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you not taking, the historical aspects? Look at what there have been as far as events throughout history where actual change was made, not by violence. Because when it's done by violence, when it's done in attacks, when it's done like the rioting aspect, the changes that occur are more restrictions, more laws, more like hovering instead of what you're actually looking for. When you go and destroy stuff, well, those businesses, whether they're small businesses or especially the big ones, they're gonna go and pay to go and get that restriction to be put into place. If you don't monitor yourselves, do you really want everybody else monitoring you more than it already is? Do you want to check yourself and take a look at things and reevaluate yourself? Or do you want to allow that? Because what happens after each and every riot? Because that is a historical aspect. When people have peacefully protested and marched and walked and did all these different things, had in modern day, I mean, they did have rallies back then too. But when they do that in that regard, despite how they look, because of the different things that I've read, and it's one of those, I didn't see certain things, but whatever. Despite all that, it's still peaceful. It's still just the freedom of expression, let us come together, let's have a meeting of the minds where we actually discuss genuine ways to find solutions to make things better, not just for a small area, but for a greater area as well. Be a shining example. Yeah, okay, people throw tantrums. There's a difference, though, between throwing a tantrum and literally throwing something to destroy somebody else's property as a tantrum. So if you look in history, and it doesn't even have to be that far back, look at what happened in regards to 2015 with Ferguson. What happened with the laws there after those riots occurred? What happened? I don't know by specifics. What happened? Were there more laws enacted in place? Was there a essential curfew, you're grounded sort of thing? Was there all these different things that kind of slipped in? For as many individuals who do not want to have so much surveillance, why are you doing things that require you to be surveilled? I mean, there is within reason an understanding of that for safety. But when you are purposefully going and destroying things and causing problems without actually, if you're giving your experiences, that is one thing. If you are discussing things, that is one thing. If you are doing that in a peaceful way where you are not actually going and destroying stuff, where you are not going up to somebody's whatever and literally destroying it, there's a big difference in that regard. I mean, I can't be the only person who sees that. And so despite how much my headaches hurt, so it is borderline migraine at this point in time. That is where my pain level is. I am so infuriated and quite upset. I mean, realistically, how many of the individuals that are going around and doing that sort of stuff, how many of whoever raised you, whether it was your mom, your dad, your mom and mom, your dad and dad, I don't care if it was a legal guardian, whoever raised you, how would they look at that? And if they taught you that, do you want to continue that same circle and pattern of behavior in your own life? Do you want to, as you've seen, continue that? Or do you want to lift yourself up? Would you rather go and continue to follow in those similar footsteps, or would you actually prefer to be a genuine aspect of change? Genuine change. You want to protest? Then march. How much energy, realistically, are you spending of your own personal energy going and destroying all that stuff and then running away and fighting and so on and so forth in comparison to walking? How much more energy does it take for you to run and jump, to throw a boulder, to throw a rock, whatever you're doing, to go run in and steal stuff and then, whatever occurs along that route, comparatively to gathering together and walking, meeting up, going, if you can't drive, bicycling, walking, whatever it is. How much more energy are you expounding and wasting of your own individual life force, by the way, when you do that? Not forgetting the legal ramifications afterwards. In comparison to making your point known. You want to go and gather and work together and walk together, not blocking traffic. I mean, unless you get your parade license sort of stuff, right? In comparison. And if you were raised by your grandparents, I highly doubt that your grandparents would be accepting of that sort of stuff. I know at least my great-grandparents and my grandparents, as far as like my maternal side biologically, my grandmother would be infuriated if she ever saw me doing something like that. My great-grandparents, well, kind of like that mama. That would be what happened to me. In public, wouldn't matter, it would not matter at all. Though they were also, escaping Mao Zedong, so, they'd whoop me in the street. That energy that I would, whoop me in the street right then and there. It wouldn't have been, let's go out to the car to have a conversation with your backside the way my biological father did stuff. It would be right then and there. I know there are people who have old school grandparents that know exactly what I'm talking about, and it does not matter what age. Does not matter what age at all. I know there are people who know exactly what I'm talking about, that also have aunts and uncles that are similar in that regard. You get over here. And how is that truthfully if you're doing that to be rebellious? How is that rebellious? How is that truthfully being rebellious? Because a rebellion leads to actual change. And you can choose which change you prefer. But which is more important to you? Your couple of seconds where you're on whatever, maybe, put on news for a couple of seconds, and that's all you're known for, mainly. That's your high point. Or do you want to make long-term change, genuine change for the better, not just for yourself? In that regard, if you do that short-term version, you are shortchanging yourself. If you do the long-term version, what type of money are you going to be putting into your bank accounts? Right? How many individuals who have done certain things in that regard? I don't know numbers. I don't deny that. I don't pretend to. I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. I deal with my headaches and migraines. However, I also deal with memory deficits, cognitive disorders, and I went from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to second grade math. So those numbers I don't understand. But I know there are individuals out there that, if you see this, that do. You understand what that means for your bank account, right? If that's what's more important. If you want genuine change and genuine change. But you better be glad I'm not your mom. My son can tell you that. You're not the only one. However, just saying. I mean, unless you prefer more and more lectures. in a different sort of way, obviously. Because you'll get lectures if you get arrested. You'll get lectured by all the different inmates. You'll get lectured by all the different police officers. Or you could be the one doing the lecturing. Influencing others in a positive way to rethink and reevaluate. Choice is up to you. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel, like, share. Go to my website, www.susanmeeling.com. Have a good one. And think about what you've done.